Ahoy, mateys! Guess what? Look at the, well, yeah, look at this beauty. So, this is a customer's boat. It's a big boat. It's in my, I still haven't figured out what to call this thing. Carport? Shed? Yes, these are cinder blocks because it's going to pour rain here in a couple days, and I'm going to hope that it kind of comes down here and rolls off the side, not inside the boat. Which, I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world if it did rain inside the boat, but I don't like laying in water, so. This is a 22-ish foot Willie's. I think it's a Predator or a Raptor. I don't know the submodel, and that's not really important for what I'm doing. So, the task at hand. Yeah, I got a little bit of room to work here. Check this machine out. Savage, huh? So, what we got going on is radio install, antenna install, and a couple of other little things going on. So, to prevent from drilling holes, climb in here. You can get an idea of the scope of this massive thing. So it is enormous, to say the least. The floor, 7 foot by, I don't know, 15, 16 feet. It's big, real big. And of course, this customer, his name is David. He's a super awesome dude. He just wants an annual on these things. I think we're at a 100-hour service on the troller, and not quite at 100 for the VMAX, but either way, we're gonna do a full tune-up. Lower unit changes except for the VMAX because that's got a pump on it, but we'll run through them all. And believe it or not, doing an oil change on a VMAX is a little bit more complicated than you'd think. You got to remove some side panels and stuff like that. It's actually not difficult, it just requires an Allen wrench. But I'll show you what I made. I made this. Well, obviously the customer supplied this CB antenna mount, and I made this aluminum piece. Just kind of, it's double plated there because of the thickness. I'll explain that in a second, but so this will mount the antenna wherever the heck we want. I just drilled and tapped some holes, welded a couple pieces of scrap together, and this is going to work quite nicely, just like that. So this is where the double thickness comes into play. So I made it this thick on purpose so that the antenna doesn't rub this rail. I mean, it's going to be right about here, which should be perfect. And then when you're not using it, you unlock it, swing the antenna down out of the way, and lock it down. So the antenna will be right about here. But yeah, first things first, let me get the antenna out of the box and mount to that and route the wire, and so that I can work on mounting the radio. Here we go. Oh, by the way, you guys may or may not, my all-time favorite subscribers, yeah, you may have noticed that my video quality is a little bit different. I am using a GoPro Hero 8, courtesy of a subscriber, believe it or not. It was a YouTube charitable contribution to the channel, courtesy of a local company. And do I dare say his name? Do I dare say the root? So there's this company around here. Not that you guys really care, but you might, because you might be in the market. It's called 10 Square Roofing, and they did my roof, and super impressed with the quality of work and the quality of the product. Man, this thing's ugly. Yeah, 10 Square Roofing donated the camera to the channel. Couldn't be happier. Probably the most amazing thing to happen to me within a year. Within a couple of years. Like, that's so impressed, so grateful. No other way to put it. I'm so happy with that company and the quality of their work, and now they did this little extra thing for me that's just incredible. Yo, this is what that looks like. Antenna, wire. I wish this was a quick disconnect, but customer supplied, and we can always upgrade later. But this is going to get them out in the water, which is going to be the safest. So this is not permanent. I mean, this is just going to go right like that. Thinking right there might be the furthest forward that sucker's going to be able to go. And when it comes to radio, could mean your life. An antenna could be the difference between you getting home and not. It looks like the mount protrudes past the top of the radio quite a bit. I mean, we're talking a lot, probably an inch. I have a feeling this is going to be kind of a tight fit. Real tight. Okay, it will go there. Pretty tight fit, but I think that's going to work out pretty good. The back of this fish finder, it's an HDS7, it looks like. He's got his power wire. He's got his transducer. And nothing else, no NEMA connection. Which means this VMAX right here isn't displaying information to this. I'm gonna have to give him a call behind here and figure out why and what, and then I'll know where to tie power in for that. Now I don't want the radio direct power, obviously. I want the radio to get its power either from a switch or from the battery disconnect, but I do want the bilge pump to get direct power without the battery disconnect. But not necessarily for the on or off, but I do want it for direct battery for the automatic. So interesting thing is, I might actually have to remove this rear floor panel, which is not complicated. It's literally 4 screws here, 4 or 5 screws on the hinge of that door, and this rear panel right here will come out. Could be complicated with the wash down hose holder thingy right there. If I start doing that and it looks complicated or strange, I'll stop and put it back together. But I'm gonna have to do some vacuuming once I get it apart, because there's some pine needles and stuff in here, and I don't want the pine needles sitting on the bottom of the bilge. But I need to get access to the bilge pump. So that's a whole nother project, because this boat will fill up with water and not automatically extract if the batteries are off, which is a huge problem. So I'm gonna get that out of there, and then I'm gonna work on mounting the radio, and I'm probably gonna tie the radio into the fish finder because I can, why not? And while I got this all apart, I'm gonna be searching for NEMA cables for the VMAX to see if there is NEMA cable. I might even pull the hood and see if there's maybe I'll do that first. I'll pull the hood and see if the NEMA connection is even plugged in, if there's anything plugged into it. If there's not, then I won't look for it, but yeah, I think I'll do that first. I like his dirt bike strap. That's nice. Huh. No power steering on this old girl. So that's cool. Some of these big tillers have power steering, which It's kind of the norm nowadays. So this motor is probably 2010 or older, which is, I mean, that's not a bad thing. It's just sometimes they've got a power steering right here. I know Mercury's real popular for it, because the amount of torque that comes out of this big girl is frightening. So I'm gonna climb down there and take the rest of this hood off, and we'll check for a NEMA connection. If I don't die climbing out of here, which, you know, that shit happens. I've fallen out of a few boats. Okay. Yep. Yep. Find a nice safe spot and set it. Pop it loose. Pop it loose. Pop it loose. Come to daddy. Gotta be real gentle with these. Yeah, that's loose. Misplaced. Something weird about that. Kind of superficial, but it looks weird. Okay, NEMA connection. Nope, there it is right there. Wow. This white sucker right here with the dummy end on it, that is the NEMA connection. And it has the factory dummy cap on it. Yeah, this is where you plug in your, I call it a NEMA. It's a NMEA, but it's easier for me to just say NEMA. So you can call it what you want. But this is supposed to plug into a cable that runs all the way to the fish finder to display engine information, but it does not have that cable, and I believe it's like a $100 cable. So, and I've already got this tore apart. I might just talk to David and see if he wants to do that. He may not care about that kind of stuff. I'm not sure, but we'll see. I think that he would like to know exactly how many hours he's at, though. It's, you know, unless he bought it brand new and he's been doing the math, it'd be good to see all the information from that engine. So one step at a time. I'll focus back on the CB. I'll send him a text message and figure out what the customer wants to do about that. He doesn't have to do anything about that, but I mean, when you own this modern of equipment, you might as well take advantage of it. I'm gonna work on getting that panel out gently, and that way I can get the antenna wire routed back there and be able to actually reach it, and not have to use my total recall tool in order to grab it. You like that movie reference? And no, that's what he says. And if you know the part of that movie, comment down below. Total recall tool. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, get the cable through there, mount the radio and whatnot. So, yeah. Okay. VHF radio, done. So, flip on this switch, which I thought was a dummy switch. It's just not labeled. It's for the fish finder. So, because of the amount of amperage draw that makes, and the amperage draw that makes, and the size of circuit breaker that's in here, it is far, far over appropriate to use one switch to power both of these units. So And obviously, so what I did, I wired in the NEMA connection on the back of the Lowrance to the NEMA connection on the back of the radio, so that if you push this distress button, it will send the GPS coordinates from this. So that way they're all connected. And it's almost like calling 911 with your cell phone. They can tell where you're at just from the call, and you don't even need to say anything and they'll come find you. So that's kind of a benefit of having the two of those connected via the NEMA cable. So that's done. And now I'm on to other projects. I'm gonna leave that switch panel open in case I need to get in there for my next project, which is bilge pump. Yeah, next trick, bilge pump. Bilge pump does not work on automatic, and if it does, you have to have the batteries on. So we'll figure that out next. Okay. Lighting upgrade. LED shop light. Got that over at the Bi-Marts. Got a couple of our parts here. Oil filter for the VMAX. We've got these downrigger power ports. Little disclaimer, when you go to buy these, the image of the plug being in that adapter port lies. So it is actually just a port that's waterproof to put your existing plug in. So nonetheless, customer has those plugs, so I'll need to get, he gave me one, I'll need to get the other one from him in order to install these. Here's the box for that one. So this is a little bit of a electrical job, piece of cake. Next we've got spark plugs for the big motor, the VMAX, and spark plugs for the little motor. And we've got customer approved the Yamaha and NMEA NEMA, I call it, interface, and this was required as well. So this power cord in this picture, and this adapter cord, and this T, and one of these is really all I need out of this kit. Obviously we're gonna probably plug this in and then coil it in and leave it in the boat because he paid for this. So obviously that's the right thing to do. So this is to make the Yamaha VMAX communicate with the Lowrance fish finder. And then we got a bilge pump. This is the bilge pump that I have in my Frankensled, and it is a beast. So it moves some pretty serious water with not a lot of amps, which is important. On a 12-volt system, it only draws 2.5 amps. If you get a pump that is, or 3 amps, if you get a pump that is any bigger than this, that's automatic, the problem is, A, the hose diameter, you have to think about that, but the amount of amperage that it draws, you're wiring this thing so that it'll kick on without the batteries connected. I mean, it's like a direct to battery lead for the automatic feature of the bilge pump. So if you have one that draws like 5 amps and it has to kick on in heavy rain quite a bit, you're gonna kill your battery. So it's something to keep in mind. And we've got 2 of these circuit breakers. Okay, these are for the downrigger plugs. So if I can get the damn thing open with one hand, I am all that is man. Okay, everybody knows what this is. It's a circuit breaker. Most importantly, a manually resetting circuit breaker. There we go. So, just like that. This is for these. So instead of alligator clips on the battery for the downrigger, this is going to be permanent in the boat. This is going to be permanent in the boat. This is going to be wired to this, and this is going to be wired to the battery shutoff. So I've got a pair of these. We're going to go 40 amps on the left and 40 amps on the right. And but we're going to run individual power to bridge across the pair for supply. So the supply is going to go into the bottom of these. I think the bottom. No, into the top of these, and then out of the bottom to each side, so that they are still independent but only have one supply, which is going to make wiring a little bit easier, a little bit simpler, and less complicated is better. So before we dive into all this, oh yeah, I've got Yamalube engine oil out in the shed for this 10W30. It's like 7 quarts for this guy and 1 quart for this guy, so that makes 2 gallons. And we're going to do a lower unit service on this, and this guy obviously doesn't need a lower unit service. The only bottom end thing that this might need would be a water pump, but he said that it doesn't have any hours on it. So, and I will verify that after I get this installed. Once this is installed, I will know exactly how many hours are on that. So I'm excited to see that, and we'll probably just go from there. Plug it in, plug it in. Okay, this one's done. Done and out the door. I got a little bit of vacuuming to do yet, but antenna, CB, bilge pump, downrigger receptacles, fuel filter, tune-up, oil change, lower unit service, tune-up, oil change, inspection, NEMA cable install, complete. Took a little while, but I got it strapped down the way it was when it got here. And I appreciate you guys staying tuned for this one. And yeah, thanks for watching. And we'll see you on the next boat.